Welcome to this week's episode of The Obscurity of Maximum Security with me, Kara Phillip, and most importantly, Mike Johnson. Today we're going to talk about writs and court and more.
Yes. A lot of people think that inmates should just be like locked up and throw away the key, or they believe that that's what happens. But we are, meaning corrections, we're responsible for them. Okay, they need to be fed, clothed, and more. And if they need to go to court, we got to take them. So, first thing I'll talk about are writs. A writ is when you take an inmate to outside court. And I was on a few of those, and a couple of interesting things happened. One time we took this guy to court at 26th in California.
Ooh, drive.
Yeah. And the judge ordered us to take him to the Burbank Police Department.
Okay.
Apparently, he was taking cars for test drives and not bringing them back in the Burbank area. So, all right. So when we took a guy to court, we dress him out, is our terminology. Black like slacks
Okay.
and a white collared shirt.
Oh, how nice.
Okay. So anyway, this guy he was a white guy, beard, longish hair, about 6 foot tall. So the judge ordered us to take him to Burbank PD. So we got in the car and we got to Burbank PD. When we got there, one of the officers come up to us and he said, yeah, we're getting a lineup together. We want him to stand in a lineup, okay, because of what he, anyway.
Okay.
So what they were doing, they were calling people they knew in town that were white guys with beards, longish hair, and 6 feet tall. They needed one more guy to complete standing in the lineup. Well, I'm a white guy with a beard, longish hair, and I'm 6 feet tall. So I told the cops, I said, look, I'll stand in the lineup. I'll just take my uniform shirt off, my hat off, and my sunglasses. I used to wear sunglasses, And they said, oh, yeah, you don't have to take your shirt off. We got a jumpsuit we can give you. So, okay, I take my hat off, take my sunglasses off, put the jumpsuit on, and the guys from town are like wearing business casual. They were like, I think one guy was an insurance agent and another guy had his own store or something. And then behind them was the guy that I drove all the way up to 26th in California and then to Burbank. So I get in line behind him. I'm wearing a jumpsuit, no hat, no sunglasses. And the guy, inmate, turns around and he goes, so what are you in here for? I said, I've been driving you around all day, half the day. So anyway, we went in just like on TV. We go in, and, you turn to your right, front, turn to your left. We stood 3 lineups. There were 3 different witnesses.
Oh, wow.
And then the guy I went up there with, my partner for the day, he says to me, Mike, if you get picked, I'm going to laugh my ass off. So anyway, needless to say, I didn't get picked. All 3 picked the inmate that we brought up there. Yeah, I know.
So he was already with the DOC. So already
right, he was already... Yeah,
and now we're going to do it again?
There's going to be more.
Oh.
And I never saw him again after that. He went to court, I believe Burbank's Cook County.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he probably went up to the county, and I never saw him again after that. So that's that story. Now I got another one. I took this guy to court in St. Charles when they were still using the old courthouse, like in downtown.
Oh, how pretty.
Yeah, and so my partner went to park the car, and I brought the inmate in, and we're sitting down in the courtroom, and the judge's bench is right there, and he's got all this Chicago Bears stuff on there, and I'm like, I nudged the inmate and go, hey, this guy likes the Bears, which he didn't seem to care, but I did. I thought it was great. So anyway, I'm like, man, this guy is into the Bears, and then bailiff comes in, All rise for the Honorable Robert Thomas. Bob Thomas was the kicker on the Bears.
Oh, so he does like the
before
Bears.
Kevin Butler.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And he went on to be on the Supreme Court of Illinois, the Illinois Supreme Court. Yeah, Bob Thomas.
Oh, how cool.
And he walks in, and I go, oh, he is a Bear. He wasn't just into the Bears; he was a Bear.
He's allowed to be covered in memorabilia. He could do that. Cover the bench.
Then another time, we took this guy up to Maywood for court, of course. And some places you had to stay with the guy, and then some places would take him from you until you go to lunch or something. Maywood was one of those places at that time. They said, okay, they took the inmate from us and put him in the lockup, and they said, go to lunch or something, hour or so. So Maywood's up like off of First Avenue up there, so we're like, okay. Back then, Brookfield Zoo had a free day. I think it was Tuesdays. I don't know if they still do or not.
Sometimes.
So the guy that was my partner that day, and we're like, let's go to the zoo. So we went down to Brookfield Zoo for an hour and walked around, checked out the animals and stuff, and we were on our way out, walking out, and a zoo employee come up to us and he goes, he's like, hey, how you guys doing? And we're like, oh, we're doing all right. And he goes, what's going on? Oh, we took a guy to court in Maywood and they told us to come back in an hour or so. And he goes, okay. He goes, hey, you know what? He goes, it's all good, but next time check in at the office because, we got a complaint that somebody was walking around with a firearm. We didn't even think of that.
I wouldn't even, I'd be like, I'm on lunch.
Yeah. So, anyway, another time, took a guy to 26 in California, and the judge remanded him. He said, okay, look, he's staying here. So Cook County took the guy from us and we drove back empty. So we get in the car and I tell my partner for that day, I said, you know what? I want to see where Chess Records was on South Michigan Avenue. Okay. 2120 South Michigan Avenue. The Rolling Stones had a song, 2120 South Michigan Avenue. That was the address for Chess Records. Now, this is in the mid-'80s, so I'm going down Michigan Avenue, and there it is. It was just an empty storefront at the time, but I was like, man, that's Chess Records, Now it's a museum.
It is a museum. I know, we have to get down there one of these days.
Yeah. Willie Dixon's family. Yeah.
Their foundation.
Yeah, so we didn't stop or anything, and there were no cell phones back then, and of course I didn't have a camera with me, so I couldn't get a picture, but it was just an empty storefront, but man, I was thrilled that I got to see it, So it was a win-win because we keep going down Michigan Avenue, and the Lexington Hotel was still standing then. That was where Capone lived.
Oh.
And I don't know if you remember Horrendo Revolver. That's what Cheech and Chong used to call him. Yeah. Cheech and Chong called him Horrendo Revolver. But, him. Okay. He did that special.
Is that where that was?
Capone's Vaults.
Yes.
It was in the basement of the Lexington Hotel. I watched it. It was live. I watched it for whatever it was, 2.5, 3 hours, and all he found was a couple of empty bottles. And they were knocking down walls and everything down there, But hey, I got to see the Lexington Hotel driving by also.
And that's our episode. That's the whole thing. Ritz and Court. Thank you for joining us for this episode of The Obscurity of Maximum Security with Kara Phillip, and most importantly, Mike Johnson. Bye.
Bye.